Today on The Hookup, we're going to take a look at two different brands of LED light panels. The original name in light panels, Nanoleaf, and the brand new and significantly less expensive Nanoleaf clone from Zemismart. I'm going to tear them apart and show you how they work, do some demonstrations, and then I'm going to give you my completely honest opinion of both of them. Zemismart just released their version of the Nanoleaf light panels, and it addressed the main concern that I've heard about the Nanoleaf, and that's the price tag. This seemed to be a great time for me to get my hands on both products and do an in-depth review and comparison. In this video, I'm going to pick apart basically every aspect of these LED light panels, but if you want the quick and dirty version, here it is. The Nanoleaf is unquestionably better than the Zemismart in a few important areas. First, the Nanoleaf is about twice as bright while consuming significantly less power. Second, the Nanoleaf's color transitions are much smoother and changes in brightness are extremely subtle compared to the Zemismart, which has really noticeable degrees of brightness. And third, the color accuracy for the white spectrum on the Nanoleaf is significantly better than the Zemismart due to the presence of both RGB LEDs and pure white LEDs, instead of RGB only like you'll find on the Zemismart tiles. There are, however, two major reasons why you might decide to buy the Zemismart tiles over the Nanoleaf. The first being price. The Zemismart tiles will cost you $135, which is $65 or 33% less than the Nanoleaf. And second, and most importantly for me, the Zemismart tiles are definitely more hackable. The Nanoleaf uses a proprietary control protocol that communicates over RS-232 serial. So creating a custom controller would be quite a task. But the Zemismart tiles are using a standard individually addressable LED chip to control their tiles. That means I can write my own Arduino programs for them using the Fast LED or NeoPixel library, and I can also port some of my previous projects to these tiles like my sunrise alarm clock and my E131 wireless holiday light show code. Bottom line, as much as these light tiles have been touted as an alternative to the Nanoleaf, I don't think you're going to be happy with the Zemismart tiles if you're looking for the full Nanoleaf experience at a cheaper price. Instead, I think the Zemismart light tiles open up a completely different set of possibilities that have only a small overlap with the Nanoleaf. So that's the brief version. Let's get into the details and tear these things apart. We'll start by comparing the physical construction of these panels. Both panel types are equilateral triangles that measure around 24.5 centimeters per side. Each corner on the Nanoleaf has 6 RGB LEDs and 6 cool white LEDs that shine towards the inside of the triangle. The corners themselves are covered in an opaque foil to prevent the lighting hotspots that would be distracting from the otherwise extremely well-diffused light that results from both a diffusing acrylic panel and a frosted top covering. In contrast, the Zemismart panels have LEDs lining each side of the triangle, and instead of the bezels in the corners, there's a thin bezel around the entire perimeter of the triangle. Despite the Zemismart tiles having a diffusing layer and an opaque bezel, you can still see the individual bright spots around each LED, giving away the configuration of the LEDs, which happens to be 5 RGB LEDs per side. The surface of the Nanoleaf has a more matte finish compared to the Zemismart, which is a bit more glossy. Interestingly, the glossy finish on the Zemismart is the result of a decorative top layer, and the diffusing layer below has more of a matte surface, while the diffusing layer on the Nanoleaf is glossy and the top layer is matte. I tend to prefer the overall look on the Nanoleaf with its corner bezel since it lets the colors in the individual tiles get much closer, and that makes them blend together a little better. This is of course purely subjective, and I hesitated to even include it since my wife said she actually prefers the look of the Zemismart tiles because she liked that each one was a complete triangle. My daughter loves them both and has already claimed both of them for her room, but for what it's worth, she says she does like the design of the Nanoleaf a little bit more. Both brands connect together using small PCBs that send power and data to the next tile. This allows the tiles to be configured in lots of different unique shapes without having to modify the programming. Unfortunately, the Zemismart programming uses a standard individually addressable LED protocol to transfer data to the next tile. That means that if you branch 2 tiles from a single tile, both of the branches have to display the exact same color data. The Nanoleaf uses a far more complex system which allows it to assign each tile a unique ID no matter how the tiles are connected. The power of each variety is also different. The Nanoleaf uses a 24-volt power supply compared to the Zemismart, which runs off of 5 volts. This means that the voltage drop after each panel will be significantly less on the Nanoleaf. The documentation shows that the Nanoleaf can have a maximum of 30 tiles connected together, and the Zemismart tiles can have a maximum of 1024. But I suspect these are limitations of the communication protocol and not the voltage. And on full brightness white, you can even start to see slight degradation in the color accuracy on the 8th and 9th tile in the Zemismart tiles. Not only would connecting 1024 panels in series be infeasible due to the voltage drop issues, but it would also consume almost 9,000 watts of power. You heard me right. One typical advantage of 5-volt LEDs is greater efficiency and therefore lower power usage. However, this doesn't seem to be the case with these light tiles. On full brightness white, the Zemismart tiles consumed a massive 79 watts of power, while the Nanoleaf only consumed 45 watts at full brightness. And when I adjusted the brightness of the Nanoleaf to match the brightness of the Zemismart tiles, the Nanoleaf drew only 18 watts, over 60 watts less than the Zemismart for the same light output. In my test, this applied not only to the white channel, but was consistent for each individual color as well. To control the colors and brightness of each product, each one has their own app. And while the Nanoleaf app is far superior to the Zemismart, it's not without its faults. The Nanoleaf uses Wi-Fi to communicate, but even though there is a Nanoleaf cloud that it can connect to for things like firmware updates, it doesn't offer cloud-based communication, so you won't be able to control it outside of your network. And you'll also need to be careful when blocking ports and restricting your Nanoleaf's local access, because it may prevent you from being able to connect to them. There are Amazon Echo and Google Home skills to integrate with your voice assistants, and cloud-based control is possible when using those platforms. But HomeKit and the Nanoleaf app will only work on the same network. Other than that, the app is really easy to use and it has awesome pre-configured patterns, and it also allows you to create your own patterns. This version of the Nanoleaf, which is called the Rhythm Edition, also includes a module that allows it to be music reactive. The Zemismart tiles, on the other hand, have two different controllers and two different apps based on what you want to do with them and how you want to control them. There's a Bluetooth controller that allows them to be music reactive and a Wi-Fi controller that allows them to be controlled with things like the Amazon Echo and the Google Home. You can't have both music reactivity and Wi-Fi control at the same time. Additionally, I found the Wi-Fi controller extremely frustrating to use. Not only did the app want me to create an account using my phone number, but after attempting to pair the tiles for over 30 minutes, I jumped on the internet only to find Amazon reviews for that particular LED controller that mentioned that even though there is an iOS app for controlling, the pairing process only works on Android. Sure enough, I grabbed an old Android tablet, installed the app, and the pairing process completed on the first try. The Bluetooth music controller connects much more easily, and it can either use a microphone to pick up sound in the room or a 3.5mm audio jack for direct connection. The engineer in me tells me that the 3.5mm direct connection should produce a better experience since it won't pick up ambient noises and it can correctly respond to each different frequency. But in practice, the Nanoleaf produces a more pleasing effect on both the microphone and the audio jack, probably due to more elegant coding rather than more accurate spectrum analysis. Again, completely subjectively, I also prefer the microphone integration because it has no wires, requires less setup, and it can respond to music from multiple sources. So far, the Nanoleaf appears to be superior in almost every way. However, there are a few things that the Zemismart tiles can do that you won't be able to do with the Nanoleaf. As I mentioned before, the Zemismart tiles are using a standard individually addressable protocol. I'm not 100% sure which chip it has because they're using a thin LED package that I'm not familiar with, but I'd guess it's either an SK6812 or a WS2812B. Either way, both control protocols are similar enough that they can be easily controlled using a standard Arduino library like Fast LED or Adafruit NeoPixel. The small PCB connectors on the Zemismart tiles have 4 pads on each end, but only 3 of them are connected on each side. And the 4th pad is used to ensure that the correct signals are passed between connecting tiles. With a multimeter, I was able to easily determine the pinout so you can make your own custom connector for it. Once you've got your tiles connected, you can use them like you would any individually addressable LED, with the unfortunate limitation that even though there are 15 LEDs per tile, they're controlled as if they are a single LED. That means you don't have the ability to light up one side of the triangle by itself or make individual lights within the panel light up alone. Of all the problems with the Zemismart tile, this is the one aspect that I'm most disappointed in. I suspect the reason for this design decision was to make them work with generic LED pixel controllers without having the animations look strange. But it seriously limits the customizability and it makes me a bit sad. Still, I was able to easily port my sunrise alarm clock to the tiles, which makes for a pretty interesting effect, and loading the E131 DMX controller software combined with some 3D printing lets you create interesting LED props for a holiday light show. I know it's maybe not the most helpful conclusion for me to come to, but overall, I'd say if you want a Nanoleaf, you should get a Nanoleaf. And if you buy the Zemismart tiles expecting a Nanoleaf for a cheaper price, I think you're going to be pretty disappointed. However, if you want something sort of like a Nanoleaf that you can tinker with and make your own programs for, then the Zemismart tiles are a fun alternative. If you aren't interested in either of them, then I'm amazed that you stuck around this long. As I mentioned before, the largest complaint about the Nanoleaf tiles is always the price. And these days, I have a lot of financial freedom to make reviews for expensive products due in large part to the support of my patrons. They let me do crazy things like buy every battery-powered camera on the market to compare their security and test out the Home Assistant integrations of the most popular, top-performing robotic vacuums. I definitely couldn't afford to make videos like this one without your support, so thank you again. If you're interested in supporting my channel, please check out the links down in the description. If you learned something today, please hit that like button so it gets suggested to other people who might also be interested. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching The Hookup.